Howdy, folks. Sapper here, aka Sean, and we're bringing you some Descent second edition with the Road to Legend app, which is right over there. So, I think this is the final. This is the final fight. I didn't record any of the stuff leading up to it. It was a couple of side quests. It was the tutorial, which was a small little thing, and then it was a couple little side quests that I did. And I visited the town. So a couple little things that led up to this, and this is, I think, the final battle. There's not any way of really knowing if it's the final battle or not, because the app doesn't really let you do that. It's not like, in the quest book where you can flip to the end and see if it's the end. So I think it is, because so you got the Splig, which is like the heroic bad guy. He's in this room. So what I'll do is, I guess I'll just kind of go ahead and I'll just go through this final battle and we'll see what happens. It could take a little while, because one neat thing that the app does is, at least in like previous rooms, like when I started out here, we spawned some monsters, and the goblins every turn would spawn a new goblin. So you got your little minion goblins, and then you got your master goblins. So like at the end of every turn, it would spawn one more dude, one more goblin. It wouldn't spawn the whole group. So this is a group, right? So you look on your card. You look on your card, and depending on how many heroes you have, that tells you how many. So I'm playing with 4 heroes, so you spawn 4 minions and then 1 master every time it tells you to spawn a monster group. But what the app will do is it'll say, hey, spawn the group, and then at the end of every turn you might spawn one or two more minion goblins, which is something that, like, I haven't seen in any of the quest type stuff. Which isn't saying, I mean, it could exist in the quest booklet. I mean, I just haven't gone through any of the quests, and it's been so long since I've looked at it that maybe it does that, but the app does that for you. It tells you, hey, at the end of the turn, or when you finish a hero, you click on them, and it'll say, do you want to end your turn, or do you want to KO them? So when you if you hit end the turn, it'll gray them out, and it'll put a green check mark there. So as you finish somebody's turn, you just go down the line. And then it'll do the same thing with the monsters. And at the end of everybody's turn, it'll tell you, hey, spawn some more monsters or not, or some more monsters. So it'll probably do that here. So this is the main big bad guy. This isn't a Descent miniature. This is a Heroscape miniature. It's the closest thing I could find that probably would be Splig the Goblin. This is actually a bugbear, but I didn't have any big fat goblin miniatures, so that's the closest thing I could find. So you can see we've got a bunch of stuff. These guys continue to spawn here, like every I don't even know what it is, but it's not like every turn these guys spawn. It was like every 5 or 6 or 7 turns it would tell me to spawn a group of monsters here. So now I've got this group that I'm worried about, and then I've got also this group here that I need to kind of keep in the back of my mind. It'll be a turn or two before they catch me, but they are there. So here's the status. We've got Grisbin the Thirsty. He's got 1 exhaustion token. We've got Tomble Burrowell. He's the thief. This is the berserker, or the fighter. The thief, he's got 3 exhaustion tokens. The Averick Albright, he's basically our healer. He's got 3 tokens on him, 3 exhaustion tokens. And then Shiver the Mage, who's clear. So I'll tell you one thing that has been a huge difference in this game is the healers. This is his special ability, Radiant Light. So it says roll 1 red power die. Each hero in your line of sight recovers the amount of hearts rolled. Each monster in your line of sight suffers the amount of hearts rolled, and it requires 3 exhaustion tokens to do that. So what I've been doing is I'll get him in the middle of a group of, to where just about most people can see him, and then you've got, this is the die that it says you roll, and so you've got 3, 3, 1, 2, 2, and I think 2. So it's a pretty good chance you're going to heal 2 or 3 wounds every time he does that. So what I've been doing is I will cast it, give myself 3 exhaustion tokens, and you get two actions per turn or per character, and then I'll rest, and rest allows you to remove all those exhaustion tokens. So if he's in a good spot where he's got line of sight to a lot of guys, that'll be his entire action, and that Radiant Light has saved my butt because I've been able to heal a lot of wounds off of a lot of my guys by doing that. So you'll see that in this fight that I'll be able to do that. So anyway, that's the current state of things. So let's go ahead and I don't know. Nah, that's not a good spot. So this is probably our best angle. We'll go ahead and move that a little bit. So now I can go ahead and I've got my app over here, and then some of the other special rules, I think, if Splig suffers any health loss, the Master Goblin suffers that loss instead. So if I try to damage Splig, it automatically goes to this guy. So I need to take this guy out before I can damage him. And then you can also see too, this is another interesting thing. So here's Splig. Kind of click on him, and then when you kill him, you just hit defeat unique, and it'll gray him out. But it'll tell you, basically that's his card, right? So here's his card. So basically the app puts all that on there. But then you've got so he's a unique. That's the Master Goblin. So that is Shaldrazar, the leader. So each time a hero resolves a melee attack, that targets the Master Goblin Archer. That hero tests, whatever that skill is. I don't know what the names of them are, but you can see that they're right here on the card. If he fails, he suffers 3 wounds. So basically the way to take that guy out is like we need to use ranged attacks on him to take him out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate my first hero. I got to figure out which one I want to do. I think I'm going to use the mage, because the mage has this exploding rune. So if I use 1 exhaust token, my rune weapon gets blast. Basically, it'll damage everything in every hex around him. So if like this guy's the center, so everybody that's adjacent, so the 8 squares adjacent to him, anything in that will also have to roll for damage. So I've been using that pretty effectively too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 1 exhaustion on Shiver the Mage. I'm going to use the exploding rune, and then I will use his arcane bolt. So I get to roll that there. There's a good way to put that. So, and now who do I want to be the center of the attack? Whoever I attack has to be in line of sight, and the guys that surround him do not have to be in line of sight. So I think I'll target this guy. That way, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they will all be affected by the blast. So I roll for damage once, which that's not a very good result. So my range is good. So I have a range of 4. He's only 2 hexes, 2 squares away. So that is 2 damage, and I did get a surge. I have 2 different things that I can use. I can use a surge to give myself an extra range, which I do not need. I can use a surge to pierce 2, which basically ignores 2 shields, or I can use a surge to suffer 1 exhaustion and get 2 extra damage. Well, the pierce actually does the same thing, but without me gaining an exhaustion. So I will use the pierce, and it will ignore 2 shields rolled. So here's our blast. It was centered on that guy. So each guy around, or actually, you know what? I was on this guy here. So that's where my blast was. So I'll start with him. And goblins roll 1 gray die. So we'll just leave that there to remind myself. So that goblin rolled 1 shield, but because I have Pierce 2, it'll ignore up to 2 shields. So this goblin takes 2 damage. Goblins only have 2 life, or minion goblins only have 2 life, so he's dead. So that's the blast. That just reminds me. And then we'll go clockwise around the circle. Who are those dudes? Those guys are no. These guys are flesh molders, so I need to put their card here on the table so you can kind of look at a minion flesh molder. So they have 4 life. They roll 1 gray die. So we rolled 1 shield, so this guy will take 2 damage. We'll use dice instead of the little heart things. And then this one is a master. So he rolls the same defense dice. So he takes 2. It's going to be difficult to... We'll do that right there. Now we're on this goblin here. He rolled none, so he is dead. Now we've got the master. And remember, the master has that special ability, but it only triggers for melee attacks. So the master, okay, the master, he has 4 life, still rolls a gray die. So we ignore both of those because they have Pierce, or the blast has Pierce, and then this one's last. Let's look, is there... Okay, so that's the only thing that'll save a goblin is if I roll that. And he is dead. So that was a pretty good blast. It took out 3 minions and injured 3 other guys. Now, Shiver gets 1 more turn. You get to do 2 things on your turn. And let's see here. I think I will leave him. I think I need to take out... So, Shaldrazar, if you look, he's got that +4 right there. So he's got 4 more life than a normal Master Goblin. So a Master Goblin has 4, but because he's special, he gets an extra... Actually, it gets another +4, so he has 8 life. So I think we need to try... and beat this guy down a little bit. I think I'll use the... This is tough. Do I... Let me use my little laser pointer here. So if I can see this guy, I could probably do... And when you do line of sight, you go from any corner to any corner. And as long as you can get a clear line of sight, so we'll go from that corner to that corner. So I can target that guy. If I target him with that same attack I just did with the exploding rune, then any damage that goes to Splig goes to him instead. So I can damage him without actually targeting him. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll target this molder with the exploding arcane bolt, and it'll get everybody right here. So I have to exhaust 1 more again. So by looking at that, he can exhaust up to 4, and he's got 2 exhaustion tokens on him right now. So let's go ahead and roll. Hopefully I get a little bit better result this time than I did last time. All right, so that will be... Unfortunately, I didn't get any surges, so that's 3 damage. We'll put the blast marker there. So we'll go to him, and then we'll just go around. Flesh molders, so that's just a reminder right there that there's 3 damage coming at you. All right, we rolled 1 shield, so he takes 2 more. A Master Flesh Molder can take 5 damage, so he's still alive, unfortunately. All right, so this guy takes 2. He can only take 4 before he's dead, so he's dead. Another 1, so he is at 2. Another 1, so he has taken 2. And then Splig. What does Splig have? It looks like, let's just double check Splig here. So it looks like Splig rolls 1 great eye. And he rolled 3, so he takes no damage. That's unfortunate because I was hoping to be able to transfer that to that guy. But it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. So that will be Shiver. So now what we do is we'll just kind of go over here and show you. So I'll go ahead and do that. We'll end his turn. And now the game says, okay, it's Splig's turn. So, and then you got the special rules for Splig. So in addition to the target, Splig's attack affects each hero adjacent to the target space. So that's in addition to, so what he'll do is he'll engage the hero within 3 spaces of this monster with the most heroes adjacent. Attack adjacent hero with the most heroes adjacent. So basically, Splig has a movement of 3. 3 only gets him to here. So he can go, actually, you guys aren't even able to see this. So that's there. So 1, 2, 3. That's about as close as he can get. So he goes there. But this guy is also adjacent because even diagonal is adjacent. So in this game anyway. So he will go ahead and attack. It looks like he rolls a red and a blue. And that looks like 3 damage and a surge. I get to roll my defense die. So I rolled a 1, so that's 2 damage and a surge. What are... It looks like, so Splig, he can do knockback, or he can spend that surge to do knockback or cause an extra damage. The knockback just moves a guy 3 spaces. Remove him, what does it say? See, if I was the Overlord, remove the target from the map, then place him on any empty space within 3 spaces of this original space. If I was the Overlord, I would move him like into the middle of this mass of guys right there, rather than knocking him back that way. So he's taken 2 damage and then gets knocked back. So let's give him his 2. So Shiver has taken 2 damage. I could spend some exhaustion on his ghost armor. So for each exhaustion I spend, I can add 1 shield to my die roll. I'm not going to do that yet because he's only suffered 2 damage. And then we'll just 1, 2, 3. And then Grisbin, he has to roll. He has armor, so he actually gets to roll 2 dice. So he blocked 2, so that means he'll take 1 and he'll get knocked back. 1, 2, 3. And I want to knock him back. His movement is only 3, so he can't even... He's going to have to... He's a dwarf, right? So he's a little bit slower than everybody else. All right, now the app tells me it's my turn again, so I can I can activate any of my characters. Let's see. What do we want to do? I can't. Well, I can attack Splig, but I want to do it with ranged attacks. Because if I do not... Oh, look at that. It even tells you. It even tells you how he spends his surges. So he got a surge. You do the knockback first and then the damage. Knockback. Place the hero as far as possible from the closest other hero. Ah. So, that's interesting. So he was here and he was here. So if I was going to place you as far as I could from the next other hero, I would probably place him over here somewhere. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that. So he ends up going there. And then, well, we wouldn't do that. He'd end up going back this way. So that's probably the place that the dwarf would go. So he gets knocked back over there. All right. Lots of interesting choices that you have to make in this game. All right, who do I want to activate next? We want to do ranged. Let's move up Tomble Burwell. He's our, I guess he's a halfling. Doesn't really say. I don't think it says what he does or what he is. He's a thief, but it doesn't really say what he is. He can move 4 spaces. So let's do that. We'll go 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Let me look. If I go here, yep, I want to do that. I want to go here, and then I will attack Splig. Even though the damage isn't going to go to him, it will go to the Master Goblin, which is what I want anyway. I want to get rid of that guy. So he's going to use his sling. So if you look at the sling, rolls a red and a blue. It's a ranged weapon, one-handed, and then surges can do the range and an extra damage or a stun. I want to try to get a stun, because then that keeps him from doing stuff. So that means it's a miss. So anytime you roll the X, that's an automatic miss. So his turn is over with, because he has 2 actions. He used 1 action to move, and the other action was to attack. So Tomble's turn is over. Now it tells me to move the flesh molders. Let's see. So it tells you to activate the minions first. It's interesting the way it does that. So when I do the minions, then I'll say done, then it'll tell me to do the master. Because sometimes the master has different abilities than the minions. So we want to spot the closest hero, which means get within 3, because these guys are ranged guys. So 1, 2, and then that puts him within 3. So he gets 1 more thing. Now he will attack the closest hero. So molders do blue and yellow. So that is 3 plus 1 is 4. So the range is good. And I blocked 2, so I'll take that 1 damage. I don't want to exhaust or fatigue myself yet. So this guy's turn is done. This guy will do the same. Actually, he can't. What is their movement for? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So we'll do that. He will also attack. he will actually take an extra damage because they automatically get a surge, and they use surges to do +1 damage. So that's 2. What is mend? All right, so he will spend 1 surge to cause an extra damage. So that will be 2 damage so that nothing happens. And then the other surge will actually, he'll use to heal himself 1. There we go. So that's all the minion molders. So I go ahead and click on them. And now the master goes. He will spot the closest hero, which is this one. So basically he will 1, 2, 3 up. He'll go here. And then he will do a ranged attack. So he does, I believe, yep, his dice are the same. Oh, looks like the same results. So the hearts are negated. So we basically have, you can use 1 surge to heal or 1 surge to mend. He gets to mend 2. And then the other surge will do +2 damage. So Shiver takes 2 damage, he heals 2. Ooh, I think I will take 1 damage. I'll exhaust and use that ghost armor. Because he's starting to... Shiver's starting to hurt. He's hurting a little bit. All right, now it's my turn again. So I have 2 guys that haven't gone. So we've got Grisbin, the Thirsty. And then we have Averick, which is our healer. He definitely needs to get into play. The healer needs to start healing. Of course, the person he needs to heal is right here, and that means he needs to get into this doorway to be able to do that. He's not going to be able to get there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, he can. How about that? But the problem is this guy. Splig is going to be a pain. Yeah, we need to get in there to heal Shiver. One, 2, 3, 4. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to have to rest. What I need to do is I need to rest to get these tokens off of him. So that's going to finish my turn up, which sucks. I really didn't want to do that. He's not... Once he gets set in a good spot, then it's awesome. But he wasn't set. He's in this hallway right here, which is bad. And of course, these guys are gonna come rushing through here in any minute now. So that's Averick's turn. Now the Razor Wings. All right, so the Razor Wings will engage the closest hero, which means they need to fly into there. So they have a movement of 5. 1, 2, 3. Actually, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, he's not the master. Oh, he is the master. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And now the Razor Wings are done. So they're getting closer. That's just once those get... Well, actually, they might reappear again. But I think once the Flesh Molders are gone, I don't have to deal with them anymore. One, 2, 3, 4. He has a movement of 3, but I can spend 1 exhaustion token to move him 1 extra space, which I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3. And you can move Actually, I can't move into that. Look at that. Because that is... Well, that changes things. I thought I could move there, but that, because of that red border right there, I can't move into there. I didn't notice that before. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll attack that guy. So that was one action. Now he's got a second action. He has a spear and he has a hammer, and because he's a berserker, he can use both of those, but I only get to use the special ability of one of them, so I will probably use the special ability of the hammer. So there goes the hammer. And then the flesh molder rolls the die. Blocked all 3 of them. And then here goes the spear. And nothing happened. So things are not they're not going well for the heroes here, folks. This could be bad. I'm whiffing a lot of stuff that I wasn't whiffing in the past. Goblin archers. Spot the closest hero, which is this guy. I don't have to face these guys, but that's just part of the OCD in me, is where I have to, you got to face your enemy. Let's see here. If within 2 spaces of a hero, perform a move, action, and retreat. All right, so you kind of go down the list. So you spot the closest hero, he's already there. Attack the closest hero and then retreat. Or if within 2 spaces of a hero, perform a move, action, or retreat. So we are within 2 spaces. So that's what we will do. So if within 2 spaces of a hero, perform a move, action, and retreat. Retreat means you move as far away from you can within your limits of your movement. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he still has an action left, so now we go back down that list. Actually, what we would do, let me do this. We would attack the closest hero and then retreat. So I will take, he gets 2 surges. So he is going to do 4 damage. That, oh, I'm almost dead. Or you're not really dead, you're just knocked out. So one more hit and he is knocked out, or knocked down. So that's the minion. Actually, you need to retreat, so you go back there. Now Shala Drazar, the leader, he goes, so he'll attack the closest hero and then retreat. Well, hopefully I can block this damage. Well, that's a good sign. All right, whew, boy. Sweating some bullets right there, so now he will retreat, so he'll back up. And that goes on him. Follows him. All goblins are activated. Oh, look at, see, this is another thing the app does. So now it tells you, now that everybody is gone, so now it says your foes surge forward with renewed strength. Each hero suffers 1 damage for each monster adjacent to him. Well, luckily, he doesn't have any, but he suffers 1. And that's the only hero with anybody next to him. Actually, you know what? Splig is next to him, this guy too, so he's going to suffer 2 damage. Now we'll continue. And now we're at a new round. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Part 1 of the final battle, and then I'll just continue. Because it's getting long, so that way it'll be in parts. So until the next part where you get to see maybe the conclusion, well, who knows? Stay tuned, folks. It's a real cliffhanger.